Hey everybody, this is Mike in Washington State checking in with you and welcoming you to watch my video here, my testosterone journey. As you know, I'm 70 years old. I basically had never been to a doctor in my life. I've always worked out, lifting weights, did a little this and that over the years, tried different things over the years, always been interested in vitamins and nutrition. Uh, Believed in testosterone 20 years ago. They weren't giving it to men much then, and I suppose some doctors were, but it's not like it is today. Now we got clinics on every corner, which is problematic in and of itself, I suppose. But at any rate, I decided to bite the bullet. I actually went to a doctor, got a blood test, first time in my life, and my testosterone was low. Low, in fact, like I jokingly said on another video, I must have been faking it all these years. A teenage girl had more testosterone than me. I was like 146. And so that was good news because then the doctor hooked me up, right? So at any rate, today I want to share with you, I've been on it now a couple months. I want to share with you needle size. That seems to be a thing that people talk a bit about. And I'll tell you what I do. And I think it's I tried a few different things and it works great for me. Probably worked great for you. But as you know, as everyone says, I think it's a little silly. I'm not a doctor. I don't even trust doctors that much. But so this is just my experience, my journey. You get your advice however you want to get it. I advise people do their own research. If you have a doctor, talk to your doctor, all that kind of stuff. You're responsible for you. I'm responsible for me. Let's do a good job and take care of ourselves as best we can. And a lot of that comes with knowledge because if COVID taught us anything, it may have taught us they may not have our best interests at heart. Money talks in this world, and when you got insurance companies with big pharma and doctors all in cahoots, yeah, maybe I'm a little crazy, but I don't know if I trust them that much. I do my own research. I know how to do some research, and I know how to think, and I know how to try things out on myself and see what's up. So at any rate, I want to talk to you today about needle size. So when I first got on testosterone from the clinic, they hooked me up with this needle. This is the one that they send me. It's 3 ml. That's this part. They have 1 ml needles, the skinnier ones, and I've never used one. I don't know why or wherefore. I've just always used a 3 ml. And I don't know why. I'll try it someday. I don't know what the difference actually would be. But they gave me this needle, syringe, I should say probably, right? I don't even know. This part. That's 3 ml. That'll hold 3 ml. And they gave me this needle size. Can you see it? So that's a 1 inch. That's a 1 inch, and I think it's 25 gauge. Yep, 25 gauge, 1 inch. So that's the one they gave me. That's the one I used initially, and that works nice. I use these Luger lock thingies, so you can buy your needle, and you put it on this part, twist it in, pull off the cap, make sure you don't stick yourself when you put the cap back on. So you can buy separate needles and separate bodies, whatever it's called, syringe. And so insulin pens, I won't talk about that much. They have the needle part hooked on. You can't take it off. You can't unscrew the needle part on an insulin pen, and I don't know about other syringes, but I like this. This works fine. And like I say, this is the one I used, a 1-inch needle, 25 gauge. Now, the gauge, the higher the number, the thinner the needle. So 30 gauge is a thin needle. You get into 30 gauges with insulin pens and things like that. I haven't tried a 30 gauge needle. I've tried lower gauge needles initially. That's before I actually went to the clinic. Had some guys at the gym hook me up, and I think they had 23, maybe 22, and they're thicker needles. But so I did my own research, came up with 25. I think 25 is a sweet spot, man. There's no need to go thinner. You don't even feel the thing barely. There's no need to go thicker. I think 25 is the optimal number. Again, the higher the number, the thinner the needle. You can try it out yourself, but I think this is a perfect needle size for overall. But that's just me. And so that's what they started me out. Now, I use this. It's not going to tell me. This is the needle that I used to draw the testosterone out of the bottle, right? And so this is 19 gauge, I believe. I'll take it off and put it on, twist it, take it off. So it's a 1 inch, and you can see it's a lot thicker. Well, yeah, that's a lot. So you don't want to be probably you don't want to be putting testosterone in your body, sticking yourself with this. I mean, you can do it. It won't be the end of the world, But I use that to draw the testosterone out of the vial. So the thicker the needle helps it to draw a little easier. Now, let me just say this. When I started watching a bunch of videos, I am a research guy. I started watching a bunch of videos. There's all kind of talk about all kind of things. I'm giving you what works and I think is a sweet spot. You're on your own, but I don't think drawing the testosterone out of the bottle is a big deal. I haven't tried it because I found a sweet spot. This works perfectly. I don't need to try anything else. Needle size-wise, thinner, thicker, whatever. I haven't had any problem drawing the testosterone into the syringe. They say, and I'm sure it's true, that with a way thinner needle, if I had an insulin pen needle on here, it'd take a little more time, but I don't know. Doesn't seem to be a big deal. Certainly with this 19 gauge, it comes right in. It takes 1, 2, 3 seconds maybe. It depends on how much you're going to put in the syringe, but I use 1 ml and less. My dosage right now, he just changed up on me. I was doing 0.7. Like I said, he started me out with 0.7 ml once a week. Now he has me doing 0.4 3 times a week. 3 times a week is a thing. I'd rather do 2 than 3, just because I don't want to pin myself 3 times a week. No big deal, and I'll talk more about that on another video. But this works fine, man, and like I say, it fills it up within a few seconds. So I'm not going to do it here because I'm not getting ready to do a shot. I did one yesterday. But what you do when you draw it out, and here's what I do, and it works wonderfully. I take my drawing needle, my 19 gauge needle, and whatever amount, I've done it both ways. I've taken the stopper all the way down. This is just putting air in. This isn't drawing yet. This is a precursor to drawing. It'll help draw it quicker. But I think also, like if I was doing a 0.5 ml, which is right there, I draw in a 0.5 ml air here. Okay, so that's all air, nothing in there yet. And then you stick the needle into the The vial, boom, you stick it. There's a rubber thing on the end of the vial. Clean that off with alcohol before you stick the needle in. And when you stick the needle in, you push the syringe in with the air, and then you draw it out, how much you need. And they'll come right out. So if I'm doing a half a gauge, I've got the drawing needle into the oil at that point. Drawing the syringe handle part, or this part, stopper part, back. There are probably more technical names for this, but you get the point, hopefully. So, and as I draw it back, the oil drips in there. So, like I said, it only takes a half a second. I mean, no, not a half a second. It takes several seconds is all. It hasn't taken me 10 seconds, not even close. Probably not even 5 seconds, probably around 5 seconds maybe. But it draws right in with this 19 gauge. 19 gauge is perfect. There's no need for me to try anything else. I'm sold on it. It works perfectly. 19 gauge, 1-inch needle to draw the testosterone from the vial into the syringe. Put the vial upside down. As I said, we pump the air in there initially, then draw back the stopper to whatever you need in there. And you can tap out if there's air bubbles, tap it out and get the air bubbles out of there, and you're ready to rock and roll. And so there you go. That's my drawing needle. And after it's drawn in there, what I do so as not to waste any, because on the needle up in this plastic part, after you draw it back to get it out of the vial, there is, I don't know if you can see that or not. Yeah. So there is probably a little testosterone caught up in here. So before I change needles to the needle I'm going to inject with, I'll draw back that testosterone from this plastic part here. And then I will, because I've drawn it back, there'll be some air in the needle. Then I'll tap it to get the air bubble out, push it back up to get the air, to get all the air out of the syringe. And so you're getting ready to inject yourself. Before you inject, you put on your injection needle. As I said, this is the one they gave me, 1-inch, 25 gauge. I love 25 gauge. 1-inch needle's fine. It works perfectly. There's no problem with it. It's perfect for intramuscular, I think. You don't even need to put the whole needle in there. 3/4 will work fine. And so that's the one they gave me at the clinic. Now, I was experimenting a bit, and this is the one I use now all the time. This is not a 1-inch. The one they gave me at the clinic was 1-inch. This is 5/8 of an inch. A little larger than, I think insulin pens are like a 1/2 inch. I think that would probably work fine. But these are 5/8 inch. And so this is what I'm using. I put the 5/8 inch needle all the way in, boom, all the way in, and bury it up to the tip. So whereas the 1-inch needle, you can bury it, it doesn't matter at that point. But I think it works with about 3/4 of the inch as well. And this is 5/8. So a little more than a 1/2 an inch. And I used the same gauge as the 1-inch needle I showed you because I think it's a perfect gauge. 25 gauge. Like I said, you don't even feel them. And so I haven't tried a thinner gauge needle yet. So that's what I use to pen myself. 5/8 inch, 25 gauge. It's the perfect setup, I think. And I think that you don't even need a drawing needle, but I haven't tried that yet. I'll let you know. I mean, doctors do it all the time. You go to the doctor's office, they're putting a thing in the vial and they're drawing it back and they give you a shot. So how bad can it be? And so, sure, every time you push the needle into something, whether it's the vial or whether it's the your arm, it's going to dull a little bit, but not that much, I don't think. So I think it's perfectly fine. I haven't done it though. And because what I'm doing now works perfectly. Again, this is the needle I use. 3 mil syringe, 5/8 length needle, 25 gauge needle. It's the perfect setup. Works perfectly, works like a charm. You try it, and I think you'll be satisfied 100%. So I don't know why all the talk about needle size and this and that and what to draw with, different size. I mean, okay, this works perfectly. My drawing gauge is a 1-inch, or my needle to draw out of the vial is 1-inch, 19 gauge. And before I go to jab myself, I switch needles. The needle I use to jab myself is 5/8 inch long, 25 gauge thickness. Works like a charm. No pain, no nothing. Everything works wonderfully. So that's what I use needle size wise and gauge to draw with and to inject with. If you try it, I think you'll be 100% satisfied. Well, let me know your experiences and your thoughts. If you agree, if you disagree, if you tried this, there's no reason to trip or to go over and try this, that, and the other, and listen to all these videos and yeah, these guys. It's like everything else. Everyone's got a theory. Everyone does a lot of talking. But this works perfectly for me. If you want to try it, let me know your experience or let me know what you use and how it's going. As I said, I'm about at my 2-month mark and had my blood test, my second blood test, which I shared with you last video. And so I think this video is good for needle size, my experience. And then I'll show another video probably next on injection. If I can figure out a way to film it, I might. And because the doctor has me doing 3 injections a week now, which I think, okay, we'll see. 3's it's not a hassle. It takes a couple minutes, no big deal. But, the less you inject yourself might be the better. But with testosterone, everyone's a little different. I personally tried once a week. The doctor changed me. I didn't like once a week that much. So I thought he might go to 2 times a week, but he went to 3. Okay. 0.4, 3 times a week. So with 3 times a week, I do one thigh, I do another thigh, and then I do a delt. I've talked about that in the past. I won't talk about it again. I saw online a lot of people didn't like the thighs. My clinic says they've done 1,000. They love the thigh. I've done the thigh, had no problems. And so I'll continue to do it. Like I said, that 5/8 length needle, 25 gauge works perfectly, man. Barely feel a thing. I did have a little blood in this thigh last time, which was yesterday. When I say a little blood, sometimes you get no blood, that's perfect. Sometimes you'll get a pin drop of blood. That's like nothing. This one had a few drops. Let's say I must have hit a vein or a capillary, whatever it is. No big deal. It's a few drops, and they weren't even, it wasn't gushing blood. So I'll continue to do my thigh, and I'll let you know. The next video we'll do injections themselves, and I'll talk about that. So thanks for tuning in. Have any questions, comments, like, share. I'm not building any big community of this and that and the other, how many followers, how many views. I ain't into all that. I just thought I'd share my experience because with me, there's no BS. And look here, I ain't selling nothing. I ain't selling no vitamins. I ain't giving no recommendation to vitamins. I've done all kind of vitamins in my day, but I ain't selling nothing. I'm just sharing my experience because I wanted a no-nonsense channel. I watch a lot of them. A lot of talk, don't say nothing, this and that. They like to hear themselves talk and argue and blah, blah, blah. What I told you today works perfectly for me. Hope it works well for you. See you next time. Have a great rest of the week and weekend. I'll see you next time.